Let's see here. All right. Okay. Okay. Good morning, my friends. How y'all doing today? Good, I hope. So it's been a few days since I did one by myself. Me and my fiance, we do one every morning together, our devotion and stuff. But I started doing one myself. She was at work for about a week, and then and I've just been waiting, for something to be on my heart, to talk about, and if there's nothing on my heart, then it's not necessary for me to say anything, but kind of gonna just freestyle one today. Not so much, maybe just a little freestyle one, but I was watching a video with Joe Rogan, and this other guy is very, very awesome. It's got like an hour into it, a little over an hour into it. Still got an hour and 50 something minutes left. But they were just talking and bringing up some things I feel like are very important and essential um, right now. Um, but yeah, okay. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you, Lord. I just want to pray, Lord, that you just put in my heart what you want me to speak, Lord, and that you just help me just be clear and just spread your message, Lord. In Jesus Christ's holy holy name I pray. Amen. Okay, so um yeah, so like like I'm sure a lot of people can relate to the feeling that you're here, you have a purpose here, right? There's more to your life than meets the eye. You're destined for something great, something huge, something amazing, and and I believe it's true. I totally believe that's true, and I believe that's most of us. A lot of people can resonate with that feeling, and and a lot of times we're waiting for this thing to happen that we're supposed to do, and I've come across information that people live their lives and end up passing on to the next without ever doing that thing they thought they were meant to do, right? So that's lead me to realize that this mission, this calling, this divine calling that we have, is in our being. It's in the day-to-day life that we live. How in a world where there's so much negativity, so much evil, so much low vibration, how important, how essential is it for you to be the best version of you each and every day, giving anyone you encounter, anyone that comes to you, your love and your light and your wisdom and your compassion. How great is that? That's amazing. That's so beautiful. It's a rarity, you know. And there can never be too much of that because really there's more of a lack of it. I feel like than there is um, plenty of it because there's enough of it now. I believe people waking up to all this and that and um, recognizing they have a divine calling, and it's really more simple, humbling. How do you change the world? Well, you start by changing your world. You know, um, Whenever you can get right within yourself, whenever you can start learning how to treat yourself, then you can start learning how to treat the people connected to you. Then, in turn, you can then learn how to treat anybody randomly, with no connection to you, but may have a temporary one for a moment, for a day, or for a few years. You know, um, like that's the most important thing, right now is, I like, or we know like we have this divine connection, and then our body is, we're so like, and we are, see, okay, like we think that we have a soul or that we have a spirit, right? We are a soul, we are a spirit, we have a body. Like that's from that dude that that Joe Rogan was talking with, like that's one thing he said, and it's just amazing. The wisdom in that, the truth to that is just resonates within me. It's amazing. So cool. So true. And so, our soul, is connected to our minds, connected to our body, right? So one thing I've ever noticed, the times that I've fallen away, the times that I was quenching my spirit and quenching my soul, okay, um, not doing those things that fed it and watered it, and stepped away, I feel like, a lot of people feel like they could have been swept away, been taken out, left this life without ever coming back to their divine connection, without ever coming back to their God center, without ever coming back to their God. One thing that I've noticed within my life, and I don't know if you can relate, but within my life, God has never abandoned me. He has never, like, as much as I turned my back on Him, I walked away from Him, you know, um, just serving myself. He's always brought me back, always, and when you are a child of His, He will never leave you, forsake you. You cannot become His child and then, just like think about it to your kids, like, um, so there's a post about addicts, right? And people were saying, oh, well, the real victims are the ones that love addicts, and are there for them and get crapped on, and go, dude, those are the real victims, and like, man, like the kind of mentality that said, like, we are all suffer from the choices of our actions. No one is making anybody be there for nobody. So to victimize somebody or to claim they're a victim for their heart and compassion on an addict makes it's sick. That's sick to me. It makes no sense. Just like the addict suffers from their choices that they make, so do the people that care about them suffer. I don't believe that no one starts out 5 years old, saying, "Oh, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be an addict. I want just to go through hell. I just want to be an addict and just do the most in the worst way and just be a thorn in everybody's side. That's what I want to be." I don't think anybody does that, Now, maybe because of their surroundings and their influences, and their parents, maybe by 7, 8 years old, they think that they want to do drugs and that it's cool and that all this stuff, But they don't see the pain, the suffering, the hardships of that lifestyle, right? So, even at the time whenever someone does that, oh well, that's what they want to do. They really, it's an uneducated desire. Okay, um, people like to show you what's on the outside if it's not on the inside. What looks good on the surface, but not how it really is. And so, like, I don't feel like, you know anyone deserves pity for being there for an addict. And I don't think the addict deserves pity, because they're an addict. We all are responsible for our choices. No one person is any better than the other. Like, oh, well, I got clean. I did what I had to do. I made the right choice. I'm righteous. If they can't make the changes they need to make, if they can't, well, then that's their fault. And just that kind of mindset is so ugly to me. It's so non-spiritual. It's, to me, that's a dry addict. To me, like, I'd much rather have someone that's humble, realizing their place in this world, knows that could be them at any moment. That by the grace of God, they were able to change their life around. And they understand that and offer their compassion and love, then want to judge and put someone down because, oh, they're not where you're at. That's just a very sick way to be, a very unhealthy way. We're all righteous and we're all unrighteous. Like, I know some amazing people that were ex-addicts and are clean now, and some of the best people I know. And I know people that are addicts still, and still some of the best people I know. And I know clean people that have gotten clean that are some of just the downright, just so unpleasant people to be around. Like they just repel you, like, but that's okay. We're all needed. And they just are probably lacking the love that they need as well. And that's the issue. Is money doesn't buy happiness. It can buy temporary happiness. Sure, but what really buys happiness, what really buys joy, pure joy, I feel like, is love. When you love yourself, when you love those around you, whenever you love your God, whenever you experience all the love that's around you, you just exude that love. You exude that joy, that passion, and you're a pleasure to be around. And people will look up to you, and they see, hey, that person's got something, like, and things are working out for them, and they're going somewhere. Like, You know, like that's the people we need to gravitate towards, the people that we need to take note from, and in our own way, be like. There's enough hate, enough evil, enough judgment. It's already been done. It's so much of it. Like that's what we need to divorce is those principles, those attitudes, that lifestyle, and really come back into this all loving one. You know, that is the true God. That is the God that, like the Bible talks about not serving false gods, but serving this God that judges and condemns, and it has favorites. All these petty human characteristics. Um, that's God is above that. Our God, my God, is above that. The real, true God, I feel like, is above all that. You cannot have a loving, benevolent um, God and then add malevolent attributes to it. It doesn't work that way. God is either all good and all loving, or he's not all good and all loving, and he's the opposite. And I feel like like that we are created in their image. I don't think there's just one God. I think there's many gods. Not so much this paganistic way, but more like, so we got Mother God, Father God, and then I feel like they created beings like which would be the aliens that in turn help to make and just it's like a hierarchy, okay? And I think just like there's a good God, I think there's dark and evil entities, which can take on characteristics of God because they are in a more spiritually advanced way, but still where they're at, there is not the loving God. There's the absence of that God. And it's a depressing existence. It's a sad existence. It's not one that I want to experience. And like this whole idea of hell, like, yeah, there's a hell, but not in the way that it's termed in the Bible. You know, um, there's things that you can do like greed and envy and ego, um, uh, um, lust. That quenches your spirit, that cuts you off from your divine connection. And if you can't grow spiritually, if you can never get to a place to where God, if you place your value on all these worldly things, then I don't know if you get to go experience, heaven. I feel like confused and uneducated individuals that didn't get it. I believe they get another chance. Like in the Bible, in the New Testament, they asked Jesus, "What did this man do to be born blind? What did he do in a previous?" It doesn't say this, but it's implied. Okay, what did this man do, basically in a past life, to deserve to be born blind? Okay, and Jesus said nothing. It was done. He was born blind so that the awesomeness of God can be shown through the Son. So the reincarnation principle is there. The karmic principle is there in the Bible, in the New Testament. Okay, but people, you got to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. If you and a lot of Christian people, they talk against and deny you from being able to do things that will open the door to having such a greater spiritual experience and existence and knowledge of God. Like the seeker, the real seeker that does not fear, okay, does not fear God's going to punish them, because he doesn't. Okay, we choose if we're going to love God and experience God, or if we're going to love ourselves and be in this world and not experience God. It's our choice, okay? There's no suffering afterlife. There's just with God and not with God, okay? One's pleasant, one's probably not that pleasant, you know. But this whole idea of suffering, you know, is I don't, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, we suffer in life. We're here in the suffering right now. This is where we suffer. This is where we learn our lessons. This is the so-called hell right here, you know. And it's a great principle. It's like in there we live, we are eternal beings, but there is no eternal one existence. Okay, like we're doing time here, then we'll do time whenever we go after here, and then we'll be incarnated somewhere else in due time, that life, pass on to the next, do some time there, now, and whenever you're not in the material world, and when you're outside of time, it could seem like an eternity, and then that eternity can feel like one split second, you know um but in the soul, in the hell, oh well, there's old souls, there's young souls, right? But really though, we're all of the same age. We were all conceived in the mind of God at the same time, right? And the reason why some people seem like old souls and others do not, well, is because they probably live more lives. Okay, that makes total sense to me. And someone that does not seem, that like an old soul, they probably have not lived that many lives, and that's why you like so. And like people say, well, we don't have a choice. If we have our blueprints and we're destined to do these things, then where's the choice and all that? But wait a minute though. So if we have a blueprint and we wrote our charts, right? We ourselves did that, okay? And we got with the people that we made our charts and contracts with to experience this life with, right? We chose beforehand what we wanted to do, what we thought would be best for us to learn from. Okay, some people chart a lot for them. They feel they're like, whoa, what was I thinking? Like, was I high or something? Well, you were in a perfect state of being. You felt exhilarating, amazing. Whenever you are in that, when before you're, when you're in the metaphysical universe, not the physical universe. The metaphysical universe, you are in that all loving, all perfect state of being. Okay, and so you feel like you can take on the world. So and really, the harder you made it, is like you gotta give yourself props, because like you wouldn't have done it if you didn't think you could handle it. So for one, you thought you could handle it. Two, you wanted to grow that much. So kudos to you. It's not a bad thing. We place so much importance on life, like, oh, we can just get this one life. Everything we do is so important that, oh, I hurt this person, it's so bad. We so like we make life way too serious than what it actually needs to be. We live in the illusion. The physical universe is the illusion, right? We all chose the things, the mistakes that we intended to make, so we can learn, from those mistakes, right? So when you know that and realize that, you can forgive yourself, you can forgive those around you. Okay, when you can get your mind on the eternal things, on godly things, okay, whenever you can get a positive state of mind and stop thinking that nothing's going to work out, or just looking at the bad in people instead of the God in people, like when you can shift your focus on the things that you want in life in a positive way, not want because you don't have it, but want it because you want to experience and enjoy and do the most in the best way. That's what you'll gravitate. That was what you will bring towards you. When you think that you're not going to get these things, or it's way too far out of your reach, or it's just not going to happen for you, you don't deserve it. Well, then, yeah, then you won't, because that's your state of mind. I say this in some of my videos, and I can't stress it enough. Like there's these lies that we believe, okay, and these core beliefs, okay, that are lies, okay, and they are the root of our problems. Okay, whenever we can abandon those lies and get lined up with truth, okay, eternal truths, okay, and get anchored on into those, man, like talking about, your life will change. Like it's just, and your the state that you live in, as in your physical state of your body, will feel so much better. You like when I was able to do this, I haven't been depressed since. I have not tasted an ounce of depression since. When I was in my addiction after this, and used again, someone left me, and it made me really sad, them leaving me. But I wasn't depressed. It was just sadness because I'm in an event. Depression, I feel like, is when it's not any one thing. It's the absence of something that you're not understanding or not getting, and you're just depressed because of it. And it's usually your disconnect from the divine. Okay, there's a big indication of why you're depressed, right? But so whenever an actual event, one thing happens, and it hurts your heart, it's not depression, that's just sadness. Okay, well, the sadness I couldn't bear, and it put back out my addiction. But being depressed though, just being just sad, like what I used to be, it used to be a real thing for me. And once I realized, points of our thoughts, because our thoughts create our feelings, not the other way around. Our feelings don't create our thoughts. Our thoughts create our feelings, okay? And then we act on those feelings, okay? So like whenever we're happy, we go and we act on happiness. Whenever we're sad, we go and we act on that sadness. We go either go go get under covers, or go do drugs, or go find some gratification from somebody, or we deal with it, face it, resonate, let it do its work, and then grow from it. And that's one thing that drugs cut some people off of, is being in connection with their feelings, because it gives you the feelings that the drugs give you. They're not your own. And then any real emotions you got, it makes a void. It takes them away. You don't get to feel anymore. So in that sense, maybe I was depressed, but it was drug. So, but like me personally, no, I was not depressed at all. Um, and it was to a point where I could even do drugs and I was functioning, and was a positive person, and happy, and it was crazy for me. I've never been able to do that ever, but it's not accepted in this world. It still cut me off from my divine connection. It still quenched me spiritually. I still felt like I was no good in the sense of feeling and being, you know but I still live to the best of my ability, and to be as positive as I can, and as nice to the people around me as I could, you know. And now I would fall short of that more often than what I do now, being clean for sure, and still not all the time and not often, but way more often than what I do now. And like, it's not that drugs are bad, it's just the result of them can be very bad. It's not like, oh, don't do them, you're gonna go to hell, or oh, don't do that, you're gonna go to hell. No, but it has consequences on your life here that you won't be able to experience your fullness. And another thing that was happening is, like, we've divorced ourselves from nature. Okay, like, that's a big, big problem. Like we are all a part of the divine. We are all connected. God is within every being. It's within each one of us. Okay, the trees, the squirrels, the grass. Okay, and we have totally cut ourselves off from that. Like there's something about, in that video I watched. Joe Rogan, he was talking about, there's something, okay, when you got like a beautiful woman, and they were some symmetrical and just got good genes, their DNA is just, and something inside of you is like, I want to procreate with that, like, it serves a purpose, right? There's a beauty that serves a purpose, and then there's that beauty of nature, of like when you're near the mountains, okay, and at night you see the amazing stars, right? And you just feel this awesome power that exudes from the universe and from nature. You feel this divine connection that doesn't seem to serve any purpose, but yet you still feel it and experience it all the same. You know, because there's something there, and we've divorced ourselves from that. Especially if you live in the city. Where but see, like, I've been noticing the nature around me, the squirrels, the lizards, the birds chirping, just the trees outside of my house. Like, I'm conscious and aware and appreciate these things every day now. I didn't always used to do that, and so no matter where you are, there's that nature. You can find that nature and get connected with that nature, okay? And that's, I think, is essential right now, because we've gotten divorced from that. And it's not about us changing any person. It's not about us. We cannot save the world, but what we can do is we can save our world. We can save our individual worlds. And if we can each do that on an individual level, then yes, we will see the result. We will see the fruits of that, and it will be amazing, and it will be so good. And there's just so much going on right now, and and a lot of people are taking advantage of this time, and the media is still trying to, doing this us against them mentality, and like in this, and even the Bible, there's a war at the end, like there's a war between heaven and hell and stuff, but like Jesus says, if he was Satan casting out demons, then his house would fall. His house would, like, what there, like, there we have light aspects of ourselves and dark aspects of ourselves, but we should not be at war with it. We need to accept the darkness within, not let it grow and get worse, but take it for what it is and learn how to channel it for the best positive, most positive outcome. Okay, it's accepting the darkness around us for what it is, and loving it, loving on it, sitting in our love. Don't help it to do its negative actions or its negative results, what it wants. No, in no way is that what I mean. But by loving on it, sitting at your love, being kind, generous, love your enemies. Like then you diffuse its power. Okay, like once we get to five dimensional, like it's not gonna have a place here no more. It's gonna have to find somewhere else to exist. But we can only get there once we can accept it. Accept it and let our love outshine it. you know, and when we can do that on an individual level, on a base level, and show the ones around us, by the life that we live. And it's not the testimony you have to give, it's in the testimony you have that you live. Okay, it's in your day-to-day walk. Okay, your day-to-day actions, your day-to-day connection to the divine, your day-to-day connection to those around you, your day-to-day connection to the random people that you come encounter with. It all matters. Everything matters. But to make it so serious, so important, that you don't forgive yourself, or you don't forgive somebody, or you hold them so accountable as to blame them or to blame yourself for all like we all chose this. We all chose everything that happens in our life. And even for the things that, there's things that we didn't choose to happen, but we chose for the things for randomness to happen to affect us, and then we chose that we would deal with that. Okay, so in a sense we chose literally every single thing that we go through. Okay, it's just when you know that, like things aren't that serious no more. Everything is super important. Everything is vital. Everything means the most, right? There's no coincidences. And when you get in tune with all this, you'll notice every single day the universe speaks to you through coincidences, through numbers, through nature. Okay, when you see certain things you're used to seeing animal-wise, like cardinals, snakes, whatever, and you look it up what it means something. Okay, and this is all very, very important. I feel like it's like right now, as this energy coming into the world, we're having to deal with ourselves, face ourselves. We were on lockdown. Finally that's thing about to be lifted. We're getting back to normal pretty soon. But we were forced to look at ourselves and to deal with ourselves. To deal with our families, to look at our families. We were sure some of us were uncomfortable, didn't like looking at ourselves, didn't like looking at what our families would become, and we had to do some soul searching, and figure ourselves out, figure out the life, the world around us and our world, and that's what was going on and what is going on. And we just need to realize our connection to it all, the beauty of it all, the love of it all. It's just so amazing. The wisdom of God is so perfect. When we pass on from this life, we grade ourselves. Okay, it's a grading. Okay, we judge ourselves. Okay, God doesn't judge us. Okay, the God within us judges us. We judge ourselves. When we're in that perfect state of being, okay, we will feel when we put someone down, when we're ugly to somebody, that's where your karma comes from. It's how you treat others, or how you treat yourself. Okay, it's not in the money you acquired or in the stuff you acquired. It's in how you treat people and your giving and your loving of them, or lack of. That's where the karma comes from. Whenever we're hateful and hurtful and mean to people, okay, we're in that perfect state of being, full of love and compassion, in a perfect state of love and compassion, okay, and we see that ugliness, the hate, the meanness, we feel that pain, we feel the hurt of that, probably even more so than what that person felt here, because they're not in a perfect state of being. They probably felt and bucked back, or could have, or maybe they maybe hurt them very, very deeply, and so it just crushes your heart. You feel so sad about it. There's no punishment physically. There's no eternal damnation. There's no, but you judge yourself, and what you did to others, you will be. It's like being done to yourself, because in that perfect state, realizing we're all one, we're all connected, knowing this to be the truth, and being in a perfect state, we are going to feel that pain. The beauty in that, that God's not going to sit there and, we sent you to school, you got it wrong, so now you burn and suffer. No, we're going through the suffering here. Okay, we don't leave this place to go suffer some more, but when we leave this place, we either be with God or without God. You know, I want to be with God. I am very loving heart, very compassionate person, and I want nothing more than to be with my God. You know, and to help people, you know, get to a place so that way they can, you know, be with Him as well. You know, and just realize, you know, that everything's connected. Everything has a purpose. We all have a purpose. God loves us very much, very much. Like I was showing, you know, you know, I was very hateful to myself. You know, very hateful. I showed in other videos. You know, I stabbed myself 7 times. Had to get carried out of the hospital. Um, I got tattoo overcoming evil. I cut myself right there. Like, it was really bad. I hated myself. I thought I was no good. I believed these lies, these wicked lies that manifested itself in my life through my addiction and the abuse. And I was never a cutter growing up at all. It wasn't until it just hit me all of a sudden. I was 22, and I don't know where the thought come from, but it got put in my mind, and I acted on it. It's horrible, really horrible. You know, but I appreciate my life now. I love myself like I'm in love with myself. Not any kind of conceited or any kind of way that I'm better than anybody or deserve more than anybody. But I just know my worth. I know my beauty within. You know, and that's where my beauty is. It's not any physical beauty I feel like I have. It's all within myself. It's in my soul, in my beingness. You know. And I walk in that power and in that right that God gave me to walk in, you know. But I had to experience and face the former to be able to experience and grow in the latter. And you know, it's so like the stuff that we go through, it all serves a purpose. You know, it's for us to grow and get better, not bitter. Hopefully that's what we're realizing. Hopefully that's what we're waking up to. You know, hopefully we're waking up to that it's not just us, we're not alone. You know, there is a God, an all-loving God. There's also, I don't want to call it an evil God, but there's evil beingness, evil entities, you know, that are no good for us. They only want to hurt us. And, and there's the divine order to things, divine connection, you know, Mother Asa. Like I heard that Gaia, a lot of the information is good, but as a company, and they're very dark. Okay, and it's not good. And so they call, you know, Mother Earth Gaia. Well, I feel like it's Mother God, and I know her name to be Asna. But when you get hung up on the names, you know, you know, like you can call God Frank. You know, like it's okay. You can call God Frank but if that Frank has the same characteristics and same attributes as God, the actual God, then you're still serving the actual God. It doesn't matter what you call him. So whether it's Gaia, Asna, Isis, it doesn't matter. I just choose to call her Asna. That's when I came across the information. That's what I learned her name to be, and it resonates within my soul as that's her name. And then Father God, his name's Om. You know, and you know, it's really cool, really cool. All this stuff, you know, like waking up right now is amazing. It's just so wonderful, you know, and I just wish that for everybody. I just want everyone to be able to find their place in this world, to realize it's not about changing the world around you, it's about changing your world. You know, it's about you getting connected to your world so that way you can affect and help change the world around you. But you can't focus on the end result. You just focus on the day-to-day, in and out being, livingness, beingness, oneness, connectedness. Um, you know, that's where it's at. That's, you know, we want to see. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what the ascension looks like. I don't know. Like, well, I do personally. You know, I experienced it, but you know, if that's how it happens, if that's how it goes down, you know, I feel like there's a reason why I went through that and was shown that, you know, and I do feel like that's how it's gonna happen. But other people may not. Other people may, and they may have had a revelation or a revealing of them that's gonna happen differently. I don't know, you know, but that's just how it was revealed to me, you know, and I can't wait for it. I really can't wait, you know. But until that time, you know, we don't know when that day's gonna be, when that hour is. It's gonna come like a thief in the night. Okay, but until then, you know, we do need to stay in the moment, stay conscious in the moment, you know, be awake, be the best versions of ourselves we can be. Love us, love those around us. You know, and like a lot of times, you know, people have a hard time loving themselves because no one shows them the love that they deserve. People don't feel like they're worth loving or they deserve love because no one gives them that love. No one shows them they're worth that love. So it's hard for them to love themselves. Why should they love themselves whenever no one cares enough to love them? You know, and that's why God is awesome. God does love us that much. God, He puts people in our lives to give us that love. Sometimes we got to be able to open our hearts up to that, not thinking everyone's out to hurt us or out to let us down, because they're not. And Jessie is a good example, of that. She, like, by the grace of God, she opened her heart up to me and let me love her, but she's used to people doing her really bad, and I probably wasn't the greatest to her at first, but she was able to see and realize that, that's not the case, and that's other stuff was going on that had nothing to do with her, it just had to do with me, figuring me out, and I was being a little selfish, and it, at the cost of her feelings and emotions, which is horrible of me, and in no way should I be pardoned of that or forgiven, as in to just let go and not have to, I had to deal with it and face consequences of her being hurt, and the lack of trust in me, that sometimes is still evident, but that's okay, day in and day out, I do my best, to give her the love that she deserves and is worth, and to never, do or give her that lowly stuff that I did before, and I haven't since then. We've been together 7 months now, and nothing like that happened. Just stuff happened within the first month of us being together, and nothing happened since. So for 6 months, I've made a complete turnaround, and given nothing but the best. But but we're working it out, we're getting through it, and that's what it's all about. It's a big learning experience. We're in school, and like life could end tomorrow. This life, this being could end tomorrow, and what all that would happen was start a new one, an amazing one, a better one than what we experience now. And but we don't know that. We don't know when it's going to be. We don't know how it's going to happen for sure. No one can say without a shadow of a doubt, this is how it's going to happen. This, I know, like it hasn't happened yet. How can you say that? You can't. I have a pretty good indication. I experienced it for myself already. So if that's the way God decides to follow through and do it that way, then that's what happened. But maybe He's got many ways how this can happen. I don't know. Okay. In no way am I more right or more wrong than anyone else. I just have my version of the truth, my perception, my reality that I want to share with y'all, and hopefully shed some light on some things, and just bring about the higher vibration, the higher truth, but not a more right truth or than anyone else. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're very much loved, very much loved. You're all very blessed. Just to be here in this life, no matter how hard or painful this life was, just know that it's a major blessing, because after this life, when you see what it's all about and the worth of it all, like, it's amazing. It's so amazing. So I'm just very grateful to be here, very grateful to serve y'all, and I love y'all very much as well, and I wish nothing but the best for all you people, all my friends out there. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And if it's not working out, if it's not good for you, well then, change some things up, divorce yourself from the lies, engage the truth. Seek out your truth. That's my best advice. Change your world before you can even attempt to change the world around you. Okay, well, all right. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for this message, Lord. Just want to thank you for just being able to share my experience, strengthen my